What's up, guys?
Hello.
How you doing? I'm doing good.
Is this what you're expecting?
I really didn't know what to expect in the whole thing. Obviously, if you're looking back on it, Mike certainly made the right decision in self-imposing. We understand that, we are on 4 years probation, so we've got some situations we need to obviously be very aware of all the time. But we're just looking forward. We're moving ahead in a positive manner. I want to say that I really admire how our players handled this situation during the past year. And I'm confident going forward, after meeting with them today again, that they'll handle it in a very professional manner, and they'll work hard and do well in school and just go through all this just like we did this past year.
The NCAA could have imposed more penalties.
We've got moving forward, our guys will appreciate the opportunity to play in the postseason after not having it this year. I think if anything, it'll make us tougher. I do want to say again that Mike Garrett made certainly the right decision with self-imposing, and going forward, we hope we're able to attack all this in a really positive manner.
Do you think it would have been different for football if they had followed your lead and self-imposed sanctions?
I have no idea. I mean, I have no. My whole knowledge is of basketball, not of football. It's really not my place to comment on football. That's Lane's job and Mike's job, and our administration's job. So, for me, I'm just happy that we're able to put some of this behind us and move forward. To me, we can now start rebuilding because we did lose a whole recruiting class in it. Well, if you look at our classes, Nicola's the only junior that we have. Evan Smith is our only sophomore. So we've got a lot of work to do moving forward, but at least we're in a position where we've overcome some of the things by taking the sanctions during the year this past year.
Based on what you and your team went through this past year, can you empathize with what the football team is about to go through?
I totally empathize with what they're going through. My opinion doesn't matter a lot, but I think it's pretty severe, the penalties that we received. I don't see 2 years, no postseason. I don't see all that, but that's not my decision to make. Our administration will handle that properly moving forward. But I certainly talked to Lane earlier today. I talked to him yesterday. The one thing I'll say, I know what Lane will do. He'll attack this thing as though he's trying to win a national championship. They'll recruit like they're going to try to win a national championship, and I don't have any doubt they'll move forward and move past this just like we have. It's the first step in putting all this behind us, and that's something I think is important.
What is the status of the players, your players that were coming to USC in terms of letter of intent, etc.?
We've talked to all of our guys this morning that have signed letters of intent. We started about 5:45 this morning. Talked to all of them, all their parents, all the coaches. We talked to all of our upcoming recruits, coaches, AAU coaches. We were on the phone for about 3.5 or 4 hours this morning talking to all those guys. And our message to them is simple. It's different than the other coaches that are calling them saying, well, they're going to get on postseason ban. It's going to be 3 years, it's going to be 4 years. No, our message to them is we're moving forward. This isn't going to affect you at all. We got a great institution here. It's time we started talking about the positives of our institution, our athletic department, and put all this stuff behind us.
Did you know all the details of the report yesterday? Did you know how it was going to affect you?
Toward the end of the day, I knew. I didn't know early on. I knew toward the end of the day. Our legal people have done a phenomenal job of keeping me apprised of what's going on from the time I got the job last June, end of June, right through today, and they still do that. I mean, I talked to them several times yesterday. They did a phenomenal job in defending our case, and hopefully moving forward, things can change somewhat for us.
What kind of psychological effect do you think it had on your team, knowing that it wouldn't, the guys knowing they wouldn't be able to play in the postseason?
This year? I mean,
This past year, yeah.
that does have an effect on you, and we were fortunate in the fact that we only found out halfway through. It was shocking at the time. It was tough at the time. The football team is going to face that same kind of, tough thing. But if you look at it, there's only one less game to play in football. For us, it could be a whole NIT tournament or NCAA tournament. So looking forward, I think our football team will rally. I think they'll do great things. They got high character kids on that team, high character coaching staff. So they're going to end up having a great year. And that's the power of SC helped us recruit right through a tough time. It will help the football team recruit through a tough time also.
Kevin, what did you tell your team today, and what changes, if any, do you think the probation will require for you guys to do?
You know, the only thing, I've talked to our team 3 times about this. I talked to them the day I got the job. I talked to them when I told them about the sanctions, and we talked about it today. And we basically talked about 5 minutes about it today, like, okay, here's where we're at. Moving forward, it's not going to affect you guys, you know, any longer in terms of, you know, postseason or scholarships or anything like that. And we basically said we're just going to go out and do our job and be men like we've done from the beginning. And that's the approach I know our football team will take, our athletic department will take, and our university will take.
Probation, what changes, if any, does that entail or
I really don't even
require?
know what probation means when you get right down to it. I mean, I guess it means if you have another major infraction. I'm speaking out of turn because I don't know. I told our guys we're on 4 years probation. We don't anticipate that affecting us at all. We plan on going forward and just doing our job on and off the court, so we don't think that's going to have any effect at all.
Have you met with compliance or planning to meet to get the details?
I talk to compliance all the time. I talk to Ellen and Kevin Sargent and these guys all the time. They like our administration, like our legal people. I mean, I talk to them every day. You know, I took my NCAA compliance test this morning, so I mean, we're constantly in contact with them. I applaud the job they did. I mean, they put in a tough 5 years on this whole thing, as did our university. And it's time to put this thing behind us, and it's time to move forward and talk about the great things Southern Cal has.
Was that NCAA compliance test?
What's that?
Did you pass?
I did pass. I had the book, though. If it would have been open book, I would not have passed. I can promise you that.
Kevin, you have a speaking.
I'm sorry, I missed.
That's okay. Was that previously scheduled?
What's that?
Was that previously
The
scheduled?
compliance test was previously scheduled, yes.
Kevin, you and Elaine have a speaking engagement up with a Trojan
We
group
do.
up. What kind of response do you think you'll get, and what do you think you need to tell groups like that?
You know what I think we'll get? I think we'll get what we've gotten all along. Great support. I mean, we have the Trojan family is not like this typical, you know, we talk about having family, but we really don't have it. We do have, you know, a real Trojan family, and I think our people will support us mightily. I think they'll be out tonight. I think they'll have questions. Obviously, they'll have concerns. They'll want to know certain things. Everybody wants answers on certain things. There are some answers there aren't. So what we have to do is just go up there and, you know, let them know we're going to do the best job we can every single day.
Well, we've got you. Your response to Colorado joining the Pac-10, the possibility of more teams being added.
I mean, are they officially in?
Colorado's in.
Theirs? Or is that one of those ESPN things they report on the bottom line? No, they're in.
Larry was in. She
You know-
was in Boulder too.
Larry did?
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I'll say, I've only been around Larry for a year, like the, you know, being a head coach at USC for a year. I think we're moving in a positive direction. I think that I admire the fact that he's been very aggressive in his approach. I think Colorado's going to be a great addition to our league. Where it goes from there, nobody knows, I guess, really right now. But I think we're moving in the right direction. I think we want to be one of the best conferences in the country. In order to do that, we've got to add members, we've got to add TV, we've got to get more revenue. We have to do all those things, have networks that the other big-time leagues are doing.
Any thoughts on Kansas might be left out in the cold? Everybody's kind of saying that.
Kansas?
How does that happen?
I think they're the last group I'm worried about, Kansas, to be honest with you.
Okay.
You know, I got enough. We have
You don't
enough
need
problems
them.
here,
Okay.
so you know, I don't think Kansas will be left out in the cold. I'm sure somebody's going to want, you know, Kansas basketball and football and their great university in their league. So I really don't have any thoughts
Hey
on
guys,
that.
2 more questions. Kevin, do you read anything into the explicit use of the phrase "one and done," which is something the NCAA has sort of been reluctant to talk about? The fact that they use it so explicitly in the report, do you think they're trying to send a bigger message?
See, the only thing my only reference to one and dones is this. I had a one and done at Arizona when I was the interim coach there, Jared Bayless, who got a 3.3 GPA, went to every single class. If he missed a class or was late, was upset. So my criteria for one and dones is plain and simple. Good student, good athlete, you know, a guy that really is a good person. I think there's a place for one and dones. I think there's a place for one and dones that really care about the university and care about the team.
Last question, guys.
Anything else?
Thanks, Cam.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Very much.
Thank you very much for calling that.